that was different. I didn't want to do something that was just a generic shoe commercial. You know what I mean? I wanted to do something that was a little different, that tied in the shoe, his personality, kind of mixed it all together. And Rodriguez, he's one of my favorite directors in the world. You know, Desperado and all the great things that he's done, Machete.
Bring up the beat! Out of the ball!
You know, the way that he shoots things is different in and of itself. And I called him, asked him if he was down to do it, and he was like, I'm down, and there you have it. And the first day I showed up, actually, I'm on the set and talking with Robert, and he said, I got a surprise for you. I said, well, what? He said, well, I ran into Bruce Willis at the gym yesterday, and we just kind of talking, just caught up, see what was going on, whatever. He asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm doing Kobe's commercial, you want me in it? He was like, yeah, when? Go tomorrow. And he just showed up, and then there it is.
Is that something that ever geeks you out? Because, like, listen, when it comes to sports, I was just talking about my man. You're like super A-list. You're a Hollywood staple. You play in LA. Your fans are megastars. Yeah. Does it ever? You always play it cool, but does it ever geek you out when you're sitting there and cats that you really admire from other fields are worshiping you?
Well, you know what it is for me? It's an opportunity to learn. Like I love talking with them and figuring out what makes them great and what they do, and try to learn as much as I possibly can. Till the day that I die, I'm going to continue to be a sponge and continue to learn. So for me, it was a great experience having Bruce there, having Robert there, having Ye there, and Ye and I, we planned on doing something 90 years ago. And so when this opportunity came up in the summer, I was messing around with the studio and all that stuff. And once the opportunity came, we jumped on. And his character in the commercial it's a lot of fun, man. He's got a lot of energy.
He's the bad guy. Is he the heel?
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the boss.
Out the ball!
You know what I'm saying? So his character has a lot of energy in it. He puts a great performance on it. It's fun.
You never met Ye in your old days on Columbia Records, did you?
No, you know, I was just talking. Because he was when I saw him this summer, he was actually just finished. I think Jay just finished doing his verse with Power Remix. And so we were just kind of talking about that concept.
Do you love the Kanye album? I want to ask this.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. He's the one thing that he does the same thing I do in basketball. You just continue to think outside the box. And when everybody is zigging, you zag. And that's what he does. He does a great job.
So we talked about you playing in LA. In a couple weeks, we got the All-Star game in LA. You're 13th straight. You've done all right in the NBA. What does it feel? What does it mean to get to play that game in Los Angeles?
Well, it's an honor. Most of the times, through the span of a player's career, if you're fortunate, you have one All-Star game in front of your home crowd. This will be my second. And it's a huge honor. I've been in LA for 15 years now. They have another All-Star game there. It's good. You get a chance to put up a show for the whole crowd.
I actually got a surprise question from a guy who claims to be your biggest fan. He told me he's your biggest fan. He's a kid out of New Orleans. His name is Dwayne Carter. Y'all may know him as Lil Wayne. But I hit Weezy up, and he said he wanted to ask you, with the rest of your career, what goals do you have on the court besides championships?
You know what? It's funny because for me, it's about leading my guys the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the hardest part. I mean, that's the challenge. It's not scoring. It's not that stuff comes easy. The hard part is. The challenge is learning how to take a collection of guys that all have different personalities and different backgrounds, and making sure everybody stays on the same page and everybody stays motivated and stays focused on what the job is. That's the biggest challenge.
One of the things I find super interesting about your career is your growth. And I was thinking earlier today that when you were blowing up, when you were becoming a megastar, the two guys in the league that we all talked about and loved were you and AI.
Right.
Obviously, you guys had very different ends to wind down your career. When did you figure it out? Like, you were always good, but now when I watch you, you're this super team player. You're beyond a great scorer. When and how did you learn to be that guy?
Because I worked at it. I mean, I worked at it. I focused on it. I understood if I'm going to win championships, this is what I need to learn. And quite honestly, the challenge was, thrust upon me. When Shaq leaves, you can't win. Listen, shit, yes, I can. When that happened, it became my motivation, it became my passion, and I was obsessed with it, and here we go.
What do you feel about the prospect of playing next year, being coached by a guy who's not named Phil Jackson?
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. Now, you know what? I don't think he'll come back. I think this is it for him, and we just want to make sure we send him off the right way.
Right. Number 6.
You guys had a good run. You guys had a pretty good run. Now listen, I'm gonna get to the kids' question. Last thing I gotta ask you.
Sure.
What does it mean to you to have this part of your career, have this rejuvenated Celtics-Lakers rivalry, and do you kind of hope deep down there's one rubber match come June?
Yeah, it's I don't like ties. I don't do very well with ties. And, it's 1-1 in the final series, and I want to break that tie. So.
All right, so we're going to get to a couple questions now from the kids. So when I say your name, if you hear your name in your question, stand up. Let us know you are. Ishmael. That's you? All right, Ishmael's question for you is, what advice do you have for a 10-year-old like him who wants to make it to the NBA? What drills specifically should he do?
I didn't start doing basketball drills until I was about 14 years old. I didn't do one. I always just played and had fun. Like, I go out on the driveway and I just work on moves that I saw on TV, and I dream of being in the game. And I try to visualize the game happening. And it sounds really weird. Like people drove by the park where I was playing, they probably was like, look at that weirdo, like he's playing. But I really saw the whole game, and that's how I played. And then when I became older, I started doing drills and things like that. But up until that point, I just tried to have as much fun as possible.